Welcome to my channel, and I'm back with you once again with another video of Microsoft Flight Simulator. For the past few days, everybody is asking me some questions about the Boeing 787 Dreamliner in the Microsoft Flight Simulator, that they are having issues in the startup procedures after the latest update, and there are some other issues. So today I just thought of doing a short flight from Lahore to Islamabad, that's in Pakistan, and to see whether I face any issue or not, or is there any solution to this problem. So right now I'm selecting two airports, that's from Lahore to Islamabad. I will select high altitude, IFR, instrument flying rules, and the departure, I will keep it over here on this gate because I want to start the plane from the cold and dark state to see whether it works or not. Okay, so departure is set, and for the SID, I will select OMUK, I think it's 2D36, right. Okay, as I've been doing this route for a very long time, so I remember the SID and the star. Okay, so this is for the departure, and let's go and check it for the arrival. So it's Indy 1A all, and the runway will be 28, right. Great. I'll go to the navlog and I will select the altitude to 25,000 because it's a very short flight. 25,000, and the flight conditions, I'm using live weather, but for the time, let's go for the clear skies because it's very foggy nowadays. Okay, and for the time, I'll keep it at let's say 8 in the morning, an early morning flight from Lahore to Islamabad. Now everything is set. Let's go and fly this plane and let's see if there is any issue with this plane or not. So here we are. I think this is our plane at Lahore. Okay. So this is the Boeing 787, the Dreamliner. I'm flying it after a very long time. It's been, I think, more than 2 months. I haven't tried this plane. Okay. So let's go to this checklist, and first of all, turn on the battery. Okay. External power on if available. I think this is an issue because the external power, it says initially it says on, but once you click them, it says available. So I think this is one of the issues because initially it should say available, and once it's available, you click it, and then it's on. But if you hear it in the background, the sound, everything goes quiet. So I think that's an issue. It shows it's on, but you have to click it on. When it shows available, it means it's on. I think this is one of the issues that we have. Okay, now I will not start the APU. And first of all, let's make some necessary adjustments before the flight. Okay. So let's close this, and if I turn it on, the AI radio communication.
Leftward ground, Boeing Alpha Sierra X-ray 787 IFR to Oscar Papa India Sierra, ready to copy.
So I'll keep the speed at 250.
Boeing Alpha Sierra X-ray 787 is cleared to Oscar Papa India Sierra Airport as filed. Takeoff runway 36 right climb and maintain 7,000 feet. Departure frequency is 127.5 squawk 1146. Boeing Alpha Sierra X-ray 787 cleared to Oscar Papa India Sierra Airport as filed. Takeoff runway 36 right climb and maintain 7,000 feet. Departure on 127.5 squawk 1146. Boeing 787 read back correct. Contact ground on 118.4.
Okay, now I've set the speed. That's 250 knots after the takeoff. And I have also set the heading. That's 360 exactly for the runway 36 right. And the altitude is 25,000 feet. Let's turn on the flight directors. Okay. So this is all good. And anything else required? Okay. Now let's get back to the startup procedures, and let's see with the APU startup. So APU on, then start. So everything is looking good. I haven't adjusted the fuel, which is okay. And APU generator switches. Let's go here and it's already on.
Ground Boeing Alpha Sierra X-ray 787 requesting pushback.
Okay, as now pushback has been called. Let's I'm actually doing this very raw kind of checks whether to see if it's working or not, but it's amazing that the APU generators are already on, so you don't have to turn them on. Now I think APU to check this, if I let's wait for the pushback. If I yes, so after disconnecting the external power, the plane is still on the APU, which is good. You can see the pushback has started and nothing happened, so it means the plane is on the APU. So for the batteries, remember, if the batteries say available, they are on, and APU generator is already on, so you don't have to turn it on. So this is really good. If it's working, it's working. And that's the fix for it. If you have any issues, fuel pumps, let's turn on the fuel pumps. Okay, fuel pumps are on, beacon on. Start engine, thrust lever. Let's check if it's in the idle position. Yes. And let's start up the first engine.
Left ground Boeing Alpha Sierra X-ray 787 requesting the end of pushback.
Okay, so let's.
Boeing Alpha Sierra X-ray 787 request to end pushback received.
So you can see engine 1 is now running. Let's go out. External view. Oops, I was too fast. Yes, so engine 2 is running. Okay, so let's get back and wait for this engine to stabilize, and then I will switch on the engine 2. So we have got the clearance for the taxi. So everything is looking good so far. I'm also planning to do a video in which I will tell you how to program the MCDU, because right now I'm using the Microsoft Flight Simulator's built-in flight planning tool. So if you do this, the MCDU is already programmed. So all the flight plan and everything is already entered in the FMC. I'm calling it the MCDU. MCDU is in the Airbus. FMC is the flight management computer for the Boeing. Okay, so both the engines are now good. And anything else? Let's go to the checklist and let's see. Okay, repeat procedure. APU off. Okay, it's good. Turn on the lights. Not required in the morning. Anyhow, just checking. Okay, so let's switch to the pilot view, and that's it. Heads-up display is, I think, not working. I haven't tried it, but I think I'll try during the flight if it comes up. Okay. So this is good. Let's release the parking brakes and let me get the controller so that I can proceed with the taxi and then the takeoff. By the way, after this latest update, the interior looks more nice. As the pushback was straight, it didn't turn right. That's why I'm turning right myself. Excuse me for this. As I told you before, that it's not a tutorial or anything. It's like an experimental flight with the Boeing 787 to see if there are any issues with the Boeing 787 or not, and hopefully there are not. I would recommend you one thing. Try not to use so many third-party plugins. I'm not discouraging you to do this. But honestly speaking, for me, I'm only using two third-party solutions. One is the fly-by-wire. Obviously, it's an essential thing, and it's got an installer. It's a very stable version. The support is really good. And fly-by-wire, and plus I'm using the Airbus A330neo. Otherwise, I'm not using any other plugin for the Microsoft Flight Simulator. This is the only reason I think I'm not having so many issues. Because in the fly-by-wire, once I switched on to the development version, everything was working fine for me. But mostly the people are coming and they're saying that this fix is not working for them, which means that there is an issue. And the solution to this issue is to delete any fly-by-wire folders that are there in the community folder or other folders of Microsoft Flight Simulator. So you have to delete them, or maybe you can uninstall the fly-by-wire Airbus A320 and then try installing it again from the installer. But otherwise it worked for me. Now for the Airbus 787, the Boeing 787, mostly the people are coming in and they are asking me questions on my previous videos for the Boeing 787, that is there any issue that I'm having this issue and stuff like this. So I just thought of doing this video today. I was actually planning to try the Level Up 737 800 NG by Level Up in X-Plane 11. It's a very nice plane. If you haven't tried it, and if you have X-Plane 11, it's a must. I also have a video on my channel. You can just go and watch that. If you know how to fly Zibo, you will be able to fly Level Up because it's almost the same. Okay. So now I've got a clearance for the other runway, but I'm ignoring this. And here we are. Let's give full throttle and let's take this plane up in the air towards Islamabad. It's always a pleasure, by the way, to fly this plane in auto takeoff. I didn't do anything. It just took off the ground itself.
Boeing 787, you were not cleared to take
I know I was not even cleared to take off, and plus I did not even took off the plane. I think the autopilot did it. It's interesting. Okay, so can I control the plane? Yes, I can. And let me tell you one thing. Somebody was telling me that don't use the AI to fly the computer. It's off. AI piloting, I always keep it off. It's one of the issues that initially came up in the Boeing 787. That, you know, it used to take off itself. You don't have to pull back on the stick to do this. Okay. I will just try to ignore this error. Okay, so let's see if LNAV and VNAV is working. Now the plane is on LNAV and VNAV, and let's see if heads-up display. No, heads-up display is not showing anything. Nope.
Boeing 787 radar contact 17 miles north of Lahore, 14,000 feet. Cleared through the Charlie airspace. Cleared through the Charlie airspace, Boeing 787.
I just realized that I forgot to press AP. That's why VNAV was not. I'm just thinking why it's not working. But now VNAV is working. Yes, it is. My bad. Excuse me for this. Okay. So everything is now good. So VNAV is perfectly all right. There is no issue with the VNAV. There was an issue with me. My autopilot was not good. So as now the plane is at 16,000 feet, the speed will increase to 330 if I go here. Such a bad thing to do. Okay, let's go to performance. Let's see, reserves, no, data link, okay. Thrust limit. Okay. There's no takeoff. I didn't set the flaps because, as I told you before, the FMC is already programmed. I wonder why I forgot to press the AP. I was just thinking, what's happening? So now the speed is good and the VNAV is working good and the altitude is 17,200. I will wait for it to touch 25,000. Then I will start the descent towards arrival runway. And once more, kindly excuse me for this. Feeling so embarrassed right now. That after doing so many videos on YouTube and flying these planes for such a long time, I forgot to press the AP. And I was thinking that there is an issue with the VNAV. Actually, for the past few days have been very stressful for me, as you can see.